racketeering charges.
It was a circus. He did whatever he wanted, and we were just at his disposal.
Phil Pines was Diddy's senior executive assistant from 2019 to 2021. He says his then boss asked him to purchase supplies for parties dubbed Wild King Nights.
We usually had a laundry list of items that included lights, alcohol, marijuana, ketamine, Molly. Those requests started to become more frequent.
Pines claims many of these parties involved younger women.
A lot of times you would have him with a younger female, and there's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
The new interview, part of Investigation Discovery's docuseries, The Fall of Diddy.
My job is to shield his private life from the public.
Pines even sharing audio he says is of Diddy telling Pines to bring him various substances during those Wild King nights.
Phil, I need some Cialis. Give me 20 Xanax, please. Hey, Phil, I need a plan B.
I remember hearing the words, "Prove your loyalty to me, King." He grabbed me by the shoulders, pushed me to a girl that was on the couch.
The alleged parties similar to the infamous freak-offs detailed in the federal charges against the star, where women were allegedly forced to perform sexual acts with Combs and others, often under the influence of drugs.
In the moment, it just felt like, what? Like, is this fun for him? Is this a test?
Pines.
I just got one question, y'all. Welcome back. Y'all know I don't really like to get into the gossip these days. But I have to say something about this because it's just an ongoing thing. Diddy every single day. Why is this guy not in jail too? This assistant guy. Why is he not in jail? Why is Diddy the only one in jail for a RICO charge? A RICO charge in itself means you racketeering. Racketeering means, from if you go back to the old mob movies, right? You can't be a one-man mob. That's my only question right now. It's like, why is he the only one in jail?
Bringing a lawsuit to Combs back in December accusing him of sexual battery and harassment. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges. His attorneys releasing a statement saying no matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted or sex trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor.
And Diddy's lawyers also saying they are confident that the judicial process will find the truth and that he will prevail in court. And y'all, this is only the latest in a series of people who were in Diddy's inner circle going public. Robin.
Such a series of people. You're right about that. Eva, thank you.
Let's see here. All right, good people. Here we go. Enough about Diddy. Anyways, in this new world, Jacob could speak without moving his mouth. Replying to the fairy, he asked, what are you? The miniature him answered, I am you, I am them. It pointed to his father and Miss Martha Louise. I am all of you, and all of the above and below. I am Bajillion. With that, the boy began seeing things that his 10-year-old mind could not make sense of. There were moving things everywhere, on the floor, in the spilled pond water, floating in the air were billions of little wiggly things. Living wiggly things, moving, dancing all about. Jake, the boy heard. Huh? He replied before coming back to earth. Boy, get your butt over here and help me clean up this mess you made, Henry yelled. Meanwhile, Miss Martha Louise kept her attention locked on Jacob. She could tell that there was something going on with the child, and it troubled her deeply. Her grandmotherly instincts told her that it was more than the boy being in the sun all day. Jake, Henry hollered again, that time startling the old woman. "Get over here! What's wrong with you?" he said as Jacob finally began moseying over. Keeping her distance, Miss Martha Louise's eyes locked in on the direction the boy had been staring so intently. There was nothing there. Carefully, she left the scene, trying not to slip and fall, and return with a handful of towels. Passing the towels out to Henry and Jacob, her mind was still stuck on whatever it had been that the boy was gazing at. There was nothing there, nothing at all. Looking closer, she swore she saw something flicker. Why am I getting doggone messages? I tell you what, y'all. Well, Elon, whenever Elon Musk posts something on X, I get a message. I get a ding. I'm about ready to I'm about ready to toss this phone and the entire internet. But if it wasn't for the internet, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. So I'm not even gonna speak those words. All right. So let's go back to the green. I gotta change it to black, y'all. I gotta keep moving. I've been on this too long. It's not done yet, but I gotta keep moving. So let's make it black. Make it black forever. All right. There's a billion things to see, said the little Jacob. In this world, Jacob could speak without moving his mouth. Replying to the fairy, he asked, what are you? The miniature him answered, I am you. I am them. It pointed to his father and Miss Martha Louise. I am all of you, and all of the above and below. I am Bajillion. With that, the boy began seeing things that his 10-year-old mind could not make sense of. There were moving things everywhere, on the floor, in the spilled pond water. Floating in the air were billions of little wiggly things, living wiggly things, moving, dancing about. Jake! The boy heard. Huh? He replied before coming back to earth. Boy, get your butt over here and help me clean up this mess you made, Henry yelled. Meanwhile, Miss Martha Louise kept her attention locked on Jacob. She could tell that there was something going on with the child, and it troubled her deeply. Her grandmotherly instincts told her that it was more than the boy being in the sun all day. Jake! Henry hollered again, that time startling the old woman. Get over here! What's wrong with you? He said as Jacob finally began moseying over. Keeping her distance, Miss Martha Louise's eyes locked in the direction. Miss Martha Louise's eyes went to the direction the boy had been staring so intently. There was nothing there. Carefully, she left the scene, trying not to slip and fall, and returned with a handful of towels. Passing the towels out to Henry and Jacob, her mind was still stuck on whatever it had been that the boy was gazing at. There was nothing there, nothing at all. Then, wait a minute, and she looked closer. I gotta figure out that part. Then, as she looked closer, Then, as she looked closer, she swore she saw something, a flicker. They'd given Miss Martha Louise 2 sizable red breasts. Okay, so red breasts. I'll say fish, man. Let's just say fish. Two sizable fish. Afterwards, they headed back to the party. Entering the space with a long sigh of relief after putting down the heavy bucket without spilling this time. A feeling of pride flooded little Jacob's body. With all eyes on him, a feeling of confusion, okay, that's what I'm in the process of doing. Changing it right now. A feeling of uncertainty flooded little Jacob's mind. With all eyes on him, a befuddled smile appeared on his face. Right, so this is now green. This is now black. Alright. They'd given Miss Martha Louise 2 sizable fish. Afterwards, they headed back to the party, entering the space with a long sigh of relief after putting down the heavy bucket without spilling this time. A feeling of uncertainty flooded little Jacob's mind. With all eyes on him, a befuddled smile appeared on his face. He'd made it, but things weren't the same. Something had changed. Well, goodness, said Henry as he put down his own bucket with a surprised glare. His eyes were locked on the familiar face, Frederick White Sr. I gotta remember to get back to Miss Martha Louise. I'm gonna go back to her anyway, so I'm not worried about that. It's already written. Just look at what the wind blew in, Henry laughed. Henry said, with an uneasy smile. Yeah, I guess you could say that. replied Frederick. Now standing while straddling the bench, Fred and Henry shook hands and embraced the way two black men do as a greeting. Next, it was Jacob's turn to greet the near stranger. Though shaking hands with Mr. Fred had caused the boy more pain, he didn't show it. As the two men started catching up on the happenings in their lives, Fred, not being completely honest, Henry assuming as much by the avoidance of eye contact, Lily assumed the normal position of harassing Jacob. "Looks like that bucket was heavy," she said with a smirk. "Looks like your bottom lip is too," Jacob countered. Looks like your bottom lip is too, Jacob countered. "Whatever, ugly duckling," said Lily. Then as though they weren't going tit for tat, Jacob asked, "Hey, guess what?" "What?" Lily followed with a glassy stare. The girl was now admiring her father. "We took some of your cousins today. Want to see?" the boy added while moving to the heavy bucket next to the girl's feet. "All right, Jacob, be nice," said Henry to his son. "I never pay attention to him, Mr. Wallace. He has a crush on me, that's all. That's why he acts like that," Lily insisted. A tight smile that unwillingly held his lips together helped contain the boy's thoughts, which were overflowing with a collection of unkind words. Thankfully, before bursting with meanness, Jacob realized the risk of losing his future puppy and opted to let the perfect moment of harassment, of sarcasm pass, but not without putting the words "ugliest duckling" without mouthing the words "ugliest duckling" back at her while his dad continued talking to Frederick Sr. I know, Lily heard her dad say in a drunken tone. Aside to the obvious swaying that began immediately after the two men embraced, he was nearing incoherence. But she hadn't. But she hadn't seen her father in years, so what? He was drunk, and soon, yeah, okay. If you guys hadn't tell, this is day 3 of me being in some kind of slump. I think it's because I worked on the story this weekend, and I'm not used to working 7 days straight. It hadn't been 7 days yet, I don't think. Yes, it has, yeah. Actually, Monday, because, yes, this is what? Let me see. Monday to Monday was 7. Today is what, Thursday? So 7. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this is my 10th day straight, and I hadn't done that in years, y'all. Now, for people that don't know about writing, especially writing a book, it burns calories and it makes you tired, especially when you have a job. So 10 days straight is how this is my excuse of why I can't seem to get it together. But if I continue to push through, I'll get used to working 7 days a week again on the story. I'll get used to it again because I've done it. All of my other books, I got to a point to where I was working 7 days a week. Monday to Monday. However you want to see it. But as of right now, this is the first time in years that I've gone 10 days straight of just intently focusing on a story and actually sitting down. And you also got to take in accountability, or take into account this camera that I'm looking right at right now with this ring and this microphone on my face and the headset. Never have I ever done this, so that explains why I'm kind of dragging, and I can hear myself dragging. I don't have the energy, and I got to go to Columbia here in a little bit. If you guys know where I'm at, in terms of where I live in Ridgeville, South Carolina. Columbia is about an hour and a half away. So that's a drive up, drive back. Got to go up there, do a few things, come back. Yesterday I was in Beaufort. The day before that I was in Cadiz, South Carolina, King Street. Shout out to King Street, South Carolina. If you know a rapper from Miami by the name of Trick Daddy. You know now? Trick Daddy's family is from King Street. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to it. Aside to the obvious swing that began immediately after the two embraced. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me see. Let me go back. Thankfully, before bursting with meanness, Jacob realized the risk of losing his future puppy and opted to let the perfect moment of sarcasm pass, but not before mouthing the words "ugliest duckling" back at her while his dad continued talking to Frederick Sr. I know, Lily heard her dad say in a drunken tone. Aside to the obvious swaying that began immediately after the two men embraced, he was nearing incoherency. But she hadn't seen her father in years, so what? He was drunk. And soon everyone else would know what she had been knowing the entire afternoon. He'd been drinking heavily. Nevertheless, her father, the man who'd been gone for all those years without coming to visit his children once, was back, and that's all that mattered. The last time we saw each other was right before I started working again, Fred replied. I know I shouldn't. I gotta do this in a drunken tone, but that'll come later. I know I should come back to see my children. He stumbled over the word children. It came out sounding like children. Came out sounding like children. Get this text. Yeah, you should have, Henry agreed. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, how's it going up there in the big city? You still making good money at that plant? At the plant? So there's should be a little bit of conflict there between Henry and come on, man. Who's text? I got two phones. What's going on here? I can solve that right quick. All right. Yeah, you should have, Henry agreed. All right, I can't do this anymore. It's been 24 minutes, almost 25 minutes. Let me see how far I made it, man, because goodness gracious, bro. This is This is torture this morning. I'm not even gonna lie. It's torture. It came out to children. Okay, so now it's gonna be beeping here since I silenced it, so I'm just gonna put it in my pocket. Alright. Yeah, you should have, Henry agreed. Anyway, how's it going up there in the big city? You still working? You still making good money at that plant? Oh, it's going pretty good, I guess. I mean, hell, I still got a job. Yeah. So you made it through all the layoffs, said Henry. Shit, yeah. Those white boys can't hang with me. You know, I've been welding since high school, you know. Old man Jenkins taught me well. Yep, he's still there too at the career center, said Henry. Oh yeah? I gotta go see the old hillbilly. With that being said, the man's mood suddenly fell flat. Boss man told me the other day my name came up. So I don't know how much longer it's gonna be. But I think he's just looking for an excuse. Excuse? Asked Henry. Yeah, somebody went and lied, told the man I came in drunk one Saturday. Now, Fred, did you? Come on now. What I look like coming in drunk? I had a few beers the night before. Might have been a 6-pack or a little more. A few shots of vodka. Me and this old Mexican gal were celebrating Cinco de Mayo. It was a few months late, but a promise is a promise. Anyway, you know me, it takes a whole lot more to get me drunk. I can handle mine. With those words, Lily simply got up and left. After hearing the conversation take a slow roll downhill, the girl decided to locate Sonia. I know what you're saying, Fred, but you can't give them any reason, Henry said. Look, you know how those good old boys stick together. It's not just in the South either. They're everywhere, even New Jersey, even Jersey. It had been at least 2 years since the two men had seen each other, and Henry was already unimpressed by Fred's usual detachment of responsibility. In being so, he too decided to leave the man there to go clean fish. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna go see what these women of mine are cooking up in the kitchen before cleaning these fish, said Henry, as he walked away carrying both buckets. As Frederick Sr. turned his attention to Jacob, and with a cup of cheap whiskey in one hand, the man pivoted on the bench to face the boy who sat across the table from him. Hey, Travis, he said. It's Jacob, the boy corrected. Now, but I think I wrote this the first time. I wrote Travis on accident because Travis was from the book Save Miss Caroline, and I decided to keep it there because, hey, he's drunk, right? It's Jacob, the boy corrected. Oh, pretty sharp too. That's right, Jacob. The man smiled, two gold fangs glistening from the festive lights. Two gold fangs flashing intermittently. I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to writing, y'all. I'm a glutton for punishment. You see me still going, right? Speaker lights. How old are you now, Jacob? 12, 15? I'm 10. Jacob replied while looking around. He was hoping to be called away by an adult to do a chore, any chore. Any chore would do, but there was no one. They were all busy at doing adult stuff. The only other kid around was Fred Jr., who just so happened to be standing next to Suge's birthday cake, looking as though he was daydreaming about having a slice. Okay, so somewhere in here I gotta remember Jacob is feeling the effects of the mysterious drink. All right, so that's where I'm gonna leave it for right now, y'all. It's been 33 minutes. He's doing adult stuff. The only other kid who just so happened to be standing. 10, wow, get out of here. You're about the biggest 10-year-old I've ever seen. Look, I heard you and my daughter going back and forth there. If your dad hadn't told you already, you gotta understand something about women. I'm doing a good impression right now, y'all, because I'm feeling drunk, even because I'm still asleep. They like it when a man disrespects them. I know, sounds crazy, right? But look, between you and me, she likes you, little buddy. You just gotta wait it out. She'll come around. Just ignore her a few days and watch and see if she ain't eating out of your hand like a trained puppy. I may not know a lot of things, but I know women. The man smiled, displaying those shiny fangs again. But Jacob tried to explain. I know, she's outspoken, just like her mom, but as you can see, the word C, laced with concentrated ethanol, darted out like a toxic missile, exploding on contact with the boy's face, nearly scorching his eyebrows. Okay, so this is where we'll end it. It's already red, so I guess this is where I stopped, weeks ago. But I gotta pick up the pace on Jacob being, feeling the effects of the mysterious drink, and then I gotta write a scene in where, Jacob and little Frederick Jr. Spiked up the lemonade. Okay, so we'll pick it up here tomorrow, page 39. And right now I'm at 35 and a half minutes, so I'll stop. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Hit that like, subscribe, share, comment. And this is also ASMR. Put me on, y'all. This is ASMR. Put me on when you go to sleep at night. put me on when you just want to relax, if it's that boring. Now, and I know this is not for everybody. I know this is not for everybody, but I know this is also for somebody. So for the people who it's for, put me on, man. ASMR. Till next time, this is Anthony L. Kelly. I'm out.